No, it's just like a little ball of thread. Oh dear. They need to live for work, they can pay for it. To be fair, I've never applied for a job. I've changed jobs a number of times, but generally referrals from people I know. My first job interview was like, well, I know you has my job better than I can, so when can you start me? Well, I'm home so tomorrow. Cool, nice. It was always the opposite. Transit was my chance to get away from staring at a screen all day. Yeah, we don't look at screens in bra fitting. In bra fitting, you tend to be looking at boobs rather than screens. But again, yeah, like we're clearly on different ends of the job spectrum as far as like what we expect. So like it makes sense that mobile games might not be for you, but I think it's just that it's not for you and it's for somebody else. Probably someone like me, I would say, is someone who mobile games will often be more geared towards. People that don't look at a screen all day and also have long times, like that, and also don't earn very much money. Because I think where I live, at least, minimum wage is not really enough to live on most of the time. So the idea of being able to save up for anything is probably no. Like, so saving up for a console is no. The only reason, and I've been quite open about this, the only reason that I have this computer to be able to stream the way that I do is quite literally because of streaming. Because we saved for like a whole year, and like people knew that I was saving, so we had a lot of people very kindly donate. And like, that is the only reason that I am able to afford doing this. Because I've never had a job that would allow me to sit here and stream. Like, no, of course not. And like, I am a big believer that you can start off with very little, which is what we started off with, and grow your stream over time. Like, you shouldn't feel like you need to have lots of stuff off the bat. Because when I started, I had my cool center headset, which had my microphone on it like that, right? If you look at all of the old clips of me, I have it up here though, because the microphone was really bad. So if I had the microphone down here where it's meant to be really close to my mouth, it would sound awful. So I think Grobbit was around at this time when I had the microphone like here next to my eye all of the time, because that was the only way that I could use it. So I had that as my mic and my headset. And then I had my laptop, which was my laptop that I had studied for, like what I used for studies. And that's what I streamed off of. And you know what? It worked pretty well. Unfortunately, it did die. That's the only problem. Laptops. And that's why we ended up upgrading, because my laptop was slowly but surely dying. So yeah, but the only reason that I can afford that is quite literally streaming. Like without that, there's no way. I would never have had a PC. Never. Which means I would have never got into making VTubers for people, which has now become my main source of income, which I'm very grateful for, but like, it would have never happened. Not on minimum wage. I love the idea that anyone could do anything, but on minimum wage, you really can't. But that's a UK problem. It's probably a problem in other countries as well. But yeah. Oh dear, you haven't played Flappy Bird? I hated Flappy Bird. Like, some of my co-workers got me to try playing some stuff like that, and I really didn't enjoy it. The mobile games that I played were Cat Game. I have more recently played Cats and Soup. All of that kind of stuff. You can start someone in a business, you've got the skill and experience. I don't have the money, like, at all. I would have to rely 100% on Shiny for that sort of thing. I wish. This is the problem, I guess, when it comes... There's like a trifecta of things that you need. I have the time, and I have the skills. I don't have the money. I don't want to talk about it too much, because the problem is when you start talking about money on Twitch, everyone's like, oh, I'll donate. And it's like, no. I don't want people to donate. That's not why I'm saying it. But like... If I heard this story from another friend who also does sewing, and this is probably what I'll end up going into, heads up, like when my health is a little better, I have a plan for my job that isn't technically retail. It'll be my first non-job like that ever, which I actually do have the skills and experience for, which is wedding dress alterations. I'll likely go into wedding dress alterations, and you know what I get paid? Minimum wage. You have to have multiple years experience in sewing garments, in beading, sequining. You get minimum wage. I will still be a minimum wage earner. It's not retail, but that's what the skills I have are. It's my own fault to an extent, but I don't regret it. The skills that I've picked up are incredibly undervalued in most countries, I think, where like I'm really good at sewing. Sewing's a minimum wage job. I'm really good at machine stuff. It's a minimum wage job. Making embroideries, that's minimum wage. Yeah. So yeah, I've managed to get really good at some skills that are not super well received. I don't know how you would call it. It's part of the reason I was so surprised when everyone was so nice about my embroideries in this art thing, right? Because the way that you see embroidery